So I always have really ambitious reading plans for January, and I have tried to kind of curb that because this year I am planning on, once again, reading 28 books in 28 days, and I don't want to burn myself out in January and then completely fail at that challenge in February, because I do it every February. So I've been quite conservative with this TBR, although I do have a bunch of ebooks that I would actually really like to try to read. So I'm going to show you my physical stuff first. This is more of like my set TBR, and then I'll tell you about the ebooks that I also might get to if I'm kind of in the mood for them. So ebook reading is kind of more mood reading for me, I think. And there's also a few NetGalley books. I'm kind of just waffling. Let me just show you these books. First of all, I'm hoping to read Nona the Ninth. So I'm busy reading Harrow the Ninth as I'm recording this. I don't know if I've probably finished this by the end of December. Hopefully I have. And then I can get into Nona the Ninth. Harrow might carry over a couple of days. I can't really say what this is about because it's the third book in the series, but apparently Electo is coming out in 2024, and I'm trying to recap all of these books before then. I've recapped the first one, Gideon, on my website, but I haven't done, as of right now, a video recap of it, and I'm hoping to get that up by the end of 2023, and then I can start working on Harrow, because I don't want to kind of mix up the two. So I have to be careful with that. But this series is basically about necromancers and a bit of a mystery thrown into the first book. Not sure what I really want to say about the second, to be honest, after the ending of the first. It was enjoyable. I didn't love it. I don't understand like the major hype surrounding it, but I'm enjoying reading what I have so far. The next one is going to be a reread for me, and that is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. Again, this is one that I really want to recap, and I haven't done that on either my website or on this channel yet. I think this would be a really fun one to do a video recap for, because I love this world and these characters so much, so I'd love to be able to talk about them again. I've posted a whole review for this book on my channel already, so my only opportunity to talk about it, or about them once again, is going to be doing a recap. So I'm probably going to try to do that early on in the new year. And I'm just really excited to get stuck back in with these characters. This is about a woman called Amina, who is a retired pirate. She is living in kind of the countryside with her mum and her daughter. She is contacted by a woman who wants Amina to do one last job because the woman's granddaughter has gone missing, and there's some sort of relation there to this family with the missing granddaughter and Amina's crew, and so Amina has to kind of get the crew back together and go looking for this girl. Things may not be as they seem, and there is a wonderful love interest. I think it's very complicated, and there are obviously like sea creatures and jinn and all sorts. I love this book so much. I love S.A. Chakraborty's writing, or Shannon as she's going by now, I think. So can't wait to reread this. Next, I really want to read The Library at Mount Char. So this is one that I talked about in my horror TBR video, and quite a few people voted that I read this one first, so I'm going to do that. No idea what it's about, because I've been told to go into this knowing absolutely nothing, and that's fine with me. I love doing that with books. I barely read synopses most of the time, but because I do new releases videos and obviously do booktube, I feel like I should know what I'm talking about, or pretend that I do, which is why I come out with a load of waffle. So yeah, no idea what this one's about. I think it's like a fantasy horror sort of thing, and I'm excited. I'm really excited to find out what this is all about. Next, we have Death Comes to Marlowe. This is a crime mystery series. This is the second book, which came out last year, or 2023, and it's set in a town near me, Marlowe. It's a real place. Marlowe is basically where all the rich people live, and the first book is about a murder in a rich person's home, like on the River Thames. There were like guns and stuff. It was very un-Buckinghamshire. But who knows what's going on in these people's houses. Now it's time for the murder club to get back together and solve another mystery, I guess. It says here that it's about a wedding of someone called Sir Peter Bailey, grand mansion on the River Thames, free champagne. The crew rush to investigate. They find the groom to be crushed to death in his study. This sounds, yeah, it's funny. I enjoy these books, so I'm looking forward to reading this. Q. This one is by an author who I've read, I think, all of her books from at this point, apart from this one. I'm trying to double check to see if I'm missing one, but I don't think I am. I think I've read all of them. She tends to write kind of speculative, dystopian, futuristic fiction. So her first book, Vox, which you may have heard of, was about men and the government controlling women's voices, and in that dystopian world, women only were entitled to saying like 100 words a day, and then they were cut off, so they had to be really careful with what they were saying. I think then they got like fewer and fewer words or something. This one is about, well, it's called Q. It's about like education and IQ levels, I think, and like, I guess, smartness in some way. I'm not really sure what the actual like take is going to be, but it's about a woman who is a teacher and her daughter scores lower than expected on an exam, and her daughter is taken away, and the main character has to follow her daughter to her new home. So really looking forward to reading this one. I always really enjoy her concepts, even if I don't love the kind of plot as a whole all the time. So I'm looking forward to this. Good Morning Midnight. This is a science fiction book of some sort. I'm not really sure. I think this author is coming out with another book soon, and it says here that there's a Netflix film about this. Don't really know much about it, but it came out in 2016, and it says here that the main character is on a return flight from Jupiter. Mission control falls inexplicably silent, so she is marooned, and then something about the Arctic. I don't really know, but I think this is sort of like an isolation sort of deal, some sci-fi in there as well, which I always really enjoy, so I'm looking forward to this one. The Coven. This one is about witches. I think it's more dystopian type witches rather than like paranormal magical type witches, in that witchcraft is real in the real world and treated as normal, but it's illegal, if that makes any sense. Like I said, the waffling. The tagline here is, let me repeat myself so we can be very clear. Women are not the enemy. We must protect them from themselves. I think that sounds really good. It's about, like, I guess, politics and female power, which I love. Very interested in seeing how this one goes. People Person. This is by the author of Queenie, which I really, really enjoyed. And I haven't seen as many good things about this one, but I've, like I said, really enjoyed this author's writing before. I've also listened to her YA, I think it was a novella, and that was very good. So I found this one in a charity shop and decided to pick it up. The tagline is, if you could choose your family, you wouldn't choose the Penningtons. Dimple Pennington knew of her half-siblings, but she didn't really know them. 5 people who don't have anything in common except for faint memories of being driven through Brixton in their dad's gold Jeep and some pretty complex abandonment issues. I think this is like family drama. It's obviously a contemporary book, and I'm really looking forward to giving this one a go. And then the final physical book I have here is Jane. So I've had this book for absolute years, and as always, I'm trying to reduce my physical TBR, and I was waiting to read this one because I hadn't read Jane Eyre, and this is the Jane Eyre retelling. But now that I've read Jane Eyre, I might as well give this one a go. I might not enjoy it because it's an old school YA book. I'm just trying to see when this one came out, because I have had it for like a decade. Yeah, it came out in 2010, so it's an old one, and I'm glad to finally be getting to it. It says here that the main character is dropping out of college because her parents die, and so she takes a nanny job on the estate of a famous rock star. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one. I'm not sure if I will get on with the writing style because, to be honest, old school YA just doesn't have the same like feel to it anymore. I find nowadays YA is a lot more complex, whereas back in the day it felt a lot more like children's fiction. That's a whole different like discussion, but I'm going to give this one a go. And then we have some ebooks. So the ones that I've got from NetGalley that I definitely want to read were also in my most anticipated releases video. I have The Gin Waits 100 Years, I have This Wretched Valley, and I have a book called Glorious Exploits, which I didn't mention before. So This Wretched Valley, actually I didn't mention that one either. That's a horror survival story. The Gin Waits 100 Years is a fantasy book, and Glorious Exploits I think is a mythology retelling, if I remember correctly. So I've got those from NetGalley. I also might decide to carry on with either the Arjano series by Lindsay Sands or the Princess Diaries series, which are 2 very different books, but they're quite easy to read when I'm falling asleep. So I like to read those on my Kindle occasionally, so I might fit those in there. And then towards the end of the month, we've got 3 most anticipated releases coming out. We've got Only If You're Lucky, we've got No One Can Know, and we've got House of Flame and Shadow. But I'm not going to read House of Flame and Shadow in just 2 days because I don't have any time off work. So that's going to be on my February TBR, I think. I've pre-ordered it. I'm really looking forward to it. The other 2 I should be able to get to and maybe do a reading vlog for, because I'm thinking about doing a January new releases or a monthly new releases reading vlog where I read like my most anticipated books and books that you guys think I might enjoy, and then posting them like towards the end of each month. That might be a new feature on my channel, except I'm really bad at reading vlogs now. I just cannot remember to pick up the camera and talk to you, so that's not good. I'm much better at bulk filming, but let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I've already got some more ideas for like different series on my channel. Other than that, I've got about 400 books behind me that I could pick up, and I'm probably going to be doing some mood reading in January as well. I just don't know what kind of mood I'm going to be in, so that's why I've got kind of this smaller physical TBR, and then I'm trying, like I said, not to burn myself out before February so I can focus on my 28 books in 28 days challenge. So we'll see how January goes. I'm very excited for it. I always love a new year and always feel really motivated, which is why I always tend to read so much because I am just hyped, and we never have any plans in January either, so it's normally quite quiet. Although this year we do have a puppy, so we'll see how that goes, I think. Let me know in the comments below what you'll be reading. Let me know if you're excited for me to read any of these and if you want me to do full reviews on any of them. Most of them are like older, so I wouldn't blame you if you don't want me to do full reviews. But like I said, I'll be recapping a couple of them on my channel. I'm really glad that I've brought that feature over here to BookTube because I really enjoy doing written recaps on my website, and it's just really nice to be able to transfer it over, and I think people are appreciating it, so that's really good. Really pleases me, and I can't wait to do more. As a side note, I do also want to try to read more non-fiction in 2024. I'll talk about that in my goals video. So I realise I haven't put any non-fiction on this video, but I do have a whole shelf up there for me to choose from, and I may pick one which also leads into another potential video project that I have on my channel, but I don't want to overdo it. Like I keep saying, I don't want to overdo it in January, so we'll see how all of that goes. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Bye.